You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cricket Podcast, where we are taking a short break from the Ashes action to head over to India and discuss all the IPL trades and retentions. Every franchise has now submitted their list, so we know who is staying, we know who's going, we know which big names have been jettisoned, and we know which even bigger names will be staying put at the various franchises. I am Jack Hope, and I'm joined by Max Rowe Brown and Ross Legg to discuss that. Let's say hello to Max first. How you doing, Max?
Yeah, I'm good. It's nice to take a slight break, isn't it? As you said, from the Ashes warm up, a little tangent, a little detour to India and the T20s, because we must remember what really dominates world cricket, and it isn't the Ashes. As much as we love it, and as much as it's the biggest thing for us, world cricket, we all know it's about the T20.
That's what KP said. He did a special long tweet about T20. Go and read it. It's fun. And we've also got Ross. How you doing, Ross? You're still rocking your Movember moustache?
Yep, another 2 weeks, and it's also one of those really interesting things. If Travis Head does really well in the Ashes, I can just put an Australian accent on, and I can be a winner. So I'm playing both sides. Can't lose.
Yeah, that is good. That's an effective way of branding yourself there, I would say. Before we get going, just a reminder to people to click like and subscribe to make sure you follow all of our content on all the different platforms. You can watch us on YouTube. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple, all those other random podcast apps, whatever takes your fancy. Why not subscribe on a bunch of them to artificially inflate our numbers, make us look good. That's what we want to see. Defeat the algorithm. Exactly. Really, this podcast is about defeating big tech. We tried to join them, and they weren't interested in our overtures. So now we're moving to an anti-big tech footing, which is why
Ross's laptop runs on coal.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. If you want to help Ross, buy a new laptop so that he isn't running on a 3-second delay every time we record the podcast, like he's a war reporter calling in from the Gaza Strip. Head over to Patreon, patreon.com/the Cricket Pod, to chip in for that and improve the production quality of the Cricket Podcast. Pretty much all that money does go back into the pod, the running of, the hosting of, the tech, the equipment, etc. We've got bills. Ross has got a big laptop bill due. Fellas, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go through each of the 10 franchises. We're going to have a look at who they have retained, who they've cut loose. And I think we'll stick, we've been doing sort of an animal themed rating system. I think we might strip that back to a simple A, B, C, or F based system. To give them a grade. So we'll be grading each franchise based on how we think they shape up after retentions and trades. Should also be said that the auction itself is basically a month away on the 16th of December. So we'll probably have another look pre-auction at what teams might be doing then. So if you like the IPL stuff, keep an eye out for that. Look around for it. And I'll say one more thing. Which is mainly for the benefit of Ross and Max. We don't know when we're going to release this show. So we're recording this show before the first Ashes test. But depending on release schedules of our Ashes content, this might actually go out in the break between the first and the second test. Or it might not, in which case you're going to be really confused at home listening to this. But it will be an interesting insight into the organisation and the general level of competency behind
It's going to be weird, isn't it? When in 15 years' time they look at this video and we're all grey, and then the next video comes out and it's this, and we're 15 years younger, and everyone's really confused. What happened? They got
Don't let them peek behind the curtain. You don't want to know how the magic's made.
Well, who's Jamie Overton? That's what they'll be saying. Right, fellas, might as well crack on. Max, why don't we start with the alphabetically first team in the IPL and your heroes, the Chennai Super Kings.
And the team that finished last.
Yeah, they've made some big moves. I'll go through the big players they've cut first, and then you can have your say on how well you think they've done. They got rid of Ratchet Ravindra. Well, they did get rid of him. They traded away Ravindra Jadeja. They cut Deepak Huda. That's a sad one. Devon Conway and Ratchet Ravindra and Matish Patarana all released, and Sam Curran also traded away. So some fairly big names departing from the last place Chennai Super Kings. Frees up their purse. They'll have 43 crore to spend up to that salary cap of 125 crore. So what's that? About a third of their money to go, leaving them 9 slots and 4 overseas players to have a look at. Tell me what you think of your boys in yellow.
Yeah, I'm in two minds, because on the one hand, it's almost an admission that they stuffed up the mega auction last year. When you look at the number and the profile of releases, although a lot of them are guys they retained in the first place, likes of Conway, Ravindra, Patirana, Jadeja, and the rest of it, but also some of the guys that came in that you thought were going to fill the gaps that they needed to fill in Raul Tripathi and Deepak Huda. So they've
DJ
Shankar as well. So they've gone down, they've gone down the route of, they've tried it for a year, they finished bottom, and they've gone, right, let's tear it all up. Which on the one hand, it's maybe more bold than you're used to seeing from CSK, and the trade they've made with Rajasthan Royals is really interesting, because Sam Curran and Jadeja going out for Sanju Samson. I think Sanju Samson kind of it fills a big issue that CSK have had, which has been kind of a top order, reliable 6-hitting batter, and he's domestic, so that's huge. It gives them space to upgrade in the middle order, where they have been pretty turgid in the last year. But on the other hand, they've given away Sam Curran, who they obviously don't rate that much. They barely played him last year, but he's a pretty useful favourite to have around. He is my favourite. He's a pretty useful guy to have around. But with the way they play and their views, I can see from the CSK point of view that actually it's quite I think it's a beneficial trade for both franchises. I think it actually works for both teams. On the face of it, it looks a bit silly, but trying to put yourself in the shoes of what CSK think, I don't mind it. And getting Rajasthan to take Jadeja off their hands, it frees up a lot of purse, and actually I think gives them opportunities to improve, because Jadeja's, it's going to be tough for them, right? Finding someone who can bowl a 7th over every single game and score 20 runs at a strike rate of 120, but I think they can do it. I think they can. I don't mind. I don't mind. They've given themselves a lot to do in a mini auction. That's the big concern, and that's what happens when you get the mega auction wrong. But there's some guys around. There are options. They've got money, and Dre Russ.
They get to be bullies, don't they? At the minute,
he's nailed on, isn't he? Andre Russell, an old man down at CSK. It's got to happen.
I don't think that's not on the cards.
They're definitely going to go for Glenn.
I think there is. Well, yeah, there's the Glenn Maxwell's on the cards. I think Andre Russell's on the cards. I can see them going for some kind of all-round. They quite like an all-rounder, don't they? Is Cameron Green going to be back in this year? If he's fit and able to bowl, then he's the kind of individual they might be interested in. Ross,
you've already got Jamie Overton, though. Don't forget that.
That is true. We'll do Rajasthan possibly next. Because they were the other side of what was really the big trade in the IPL off-season. For my money, Ross, Chennai Super Kings have won that trade, and so I would be inclined to rate their retention trades and releases action highly because of that. Do you agree or disagree?
I still look at the team and I'm a little bit just like, where is all the fibre? I was surprised they got rid of Patirana. They've put a lot of effort into trying to develop Patirana, and I thought actually was turning into an okay T20 player. And and now they've kind of left themselves a little short for it. But I guess it was the money that they were trying to free up. Devastated that Vijay Shankar's been left to go on the sidelines, but they may well pick him back up. I think giving themselves the flexibility in that 43 crore to bully opposition at the table, other than KKR, is probably a good thing. I don't think it's an A performance on it. I think it's probably a B performance from them on the retention side of things.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be probably inclined to give them a B. I'm thinking about, when I look at these scorings, I'm not saying that, A means you're a contender to win the IPL. You have to look at where the team started.
Yeah.
And it started in a position
Badly.
that was pretty poor, like with some big gaps. Batting was a nightmare last year. They tried about 9 different combinations of people in various different orders, and none of them kind of worked.
They only vaguely looked competent when they accidentally landed on DeWalt Brevis.
Yes,
And a couple
who
of
they have
18-year-olds.
retained.
Yeah,
And there's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with getting lucky, and I think they did get lucky a little bit with some of the solutions they've had. I'd also think Jadeja is a little bit of a spent force.
He's overly so. I agree. Well, when we talk about Rajasthan, we'll talk about that. But
Yeah.
I think it's a good time to get rid of him. And Sanju Samson is one hell of a player. And he also wicket keeps, right. He's the logical replacement for MS Dhoni.
yeah.
No, they've announced Gaikwad as the
Gaikwod's
captain.
the captain.
I know, but I don't mean for this season. I mean at some point.
Yeah, I think he's
Samson could be a captain.
I won't be surprised if someone like Ravi Bishnoi ends up there, especially at the Cheapok as well. But I know it's kind of playing a little bit differently in recent years, but still, yeah, B for me.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Agreed.
I'll probably go with a B. So I've got B's all round for the Chennai Super Kings. I said we'd do Rajasthan next, and I think that kind of makes sense because these two franchises are, kind of inextricably linked because of that trade situation. So the players they got rid of, Sanju Samson, obviously a big one. Nitish Rana also traded away, and then it's a little bit of a kind of who's who of average cricketers.
That's a bit harsh on Sharna, I think. That's a bit
harsh. The bigger names, I guess, are Tikshana and Hasaranga.
Faruqi's a pretty good player.
I look, he's fine. I think at IPL level, he's pretty average. That's my take.
That shows you experience
you're
of talking about IPL cricket, mate.
You're welcome. You're welcome to disagree. I'll give you first. I'll give you first say. In terms of money they've got, they'll have 16 crore from their 125 crore budget to spend, which is a bit. It's not loads. It's kind of roughly average, probably, if you look across
That's about what they're going to spend on Liam Livingston, so it's fine.
And they have 9 spots, including 1 overseas to fill. So, Ross, they could kind of go bananas. Should also be worth saying that they traded some extra players in. So they brought in Donovan Ferreira from Delhi. We've talked about Jadeja. We've talked about Curran. So there's 3 additions they've made prior to the auction even happening. And obviously, they do keep some fairly talented players knocking around as well. Rian Parag's still there. Jofra Archer's still there. Shimron Hetmar Ross still there. What do you make of Rajasthan Royals' performance in this? We need a better name for it than trades and retentions. Off-season. In this off-season.
Transfer window.
Yeah, it'd have been quite nice if they would have tried to trade for some pace bowling, I think, because Sam Curran. I think Sam Curran is a good addition, but Rajasthan had an absolute horror show of a mega auction, and I think they've actually done reasonably on the trades here. Whilst Jadeja is a bit of a spent force, I still think he's an asset to this Rajasthan Royals team. Gives them a little bit more flexibility that they've not had in the last couple of years. Donovan Ferreira demonstrated that he can hit a ball quite a long way and is developing into a decent player. And they struggled with the finisher role. They love Hetmeyer. Hetmeyer on average plays about 11 balls an innings or something ridiculous. And they've put an awful lot into that, whereas they probably could have done with retaining Joss Butler at the mega auction, perhaps. But I've let that one go. It's not important for the Pink Boys. They are putting an awful lot on the 13-year-old, aren't they? He's obviously doing very, very well.
Rightly so.
But they are putting an awful lot of faith into a 14-year-old. So it's an interesting one. I don't think they've left themselves with an awful lot to play with. I don't think there's loads in the auction pot to go at, and they will just get bullied depending on what comes out. They're another team that could well go, do you know what, we were going for Khan Sharma or Ravi Bishnoi, which might be the extent of the domestic spinners. Their pace bowling just isn't good enough, and they're backing Jofra Archer to get through potentially 5 Test matches for England, and then the T20 World Cup, and then go and play in the IPL. I just don't see that happening.
I think that's probably a fair comment. A lot of the, I look, if you were being generous to them, there's a world in which some of this stuff works out. Shimron Hetmeyer rolls back the years and becomes the finisher he was in 2022. Jofra Archer goes from strength to strength through the Ashes. He's actually stronger and better than he ever was. Wins the World Cup, and then he's hungry for more come the IPL. Suryavanshi, he'll be an extra year into puberty now, and we can only presume that he'll be hitting even bigger sixes next season. He certainly took it to the UAE the other day when he was playing for India A. What was it? 144 in 38 balls or something. Absolute.
There's clearly some talent there. There's clearly some talent there.
I'm sorry. It could work out. It could work out, is what I'm saying. I do think they're being quite optimistic, though. I think you do rather have to be quite optimistic about the possibility of all of these players all playing to their potential for this side to be really good. And I'm a little bit,
or even all playing.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised they didn't get rid of one more quite highly paid player, probably Shimron Hetmeyer, to give themselves just a little bit more room at the.
They could get Hetmeyer back for less. They could genuinely get Hetmeyer back for less.
But also, I mean, they've traded away. It was Nitish Rana for Donovan Pereira. Donovan Pereira, a guy who can basically do the same thing as Shimron Hetmeyer, probably. For substantially less money. And I think, I actually really like the Donovan Pereira move, because it looks like he's trending upwards quite quickly. His 6 hitting record is pretty obscene, and Nitish Rana as an offering for that seems like it makes a lot of sense, because he's not in it. He's not, that he's fine. He's fine. He's a domestic batter. He's fine. But when you have traded out Sanju Samson as well, that might be a bit of an issue. Like you say, we're going to be seeing a lot more of Vaibhav Suryavanshi, but it's I mean, they've done some stuff that I kind of like, but they're still big gaps, aren't there? That they haven't. They're not going to be able to fix the issues that they had last year.
His
Charles not going to go back to CSK. They might as well just fucking traded him, and Hasaranga goes back into the pot. So
yeah,
they're going to struggle in the spin department, I think. I think
they won't be able to.
They had 2 of the better spinners. Like literally, they might not have been absolutely brilliant last year, but they can't fit them all in.
No, I think getting rid of Samson is. I know that he wanted to leave, and sort of your hands are a little bit tied. I don't know if Jadeja and Curran is a fair trade there. I suppose if you get rid of a big Indian player, you do have to find, and there's unlikely to be another big player anywhere like that caliber in the auction.
They could have done a like-for-like swap with Dhoni.
That's not a bad shout. It's not a bad shout. They could have done that, but I think they've left them. I think they've left themselves a little bit light in the batting there. I don't know. I'm quite.
I think they're going to be even more. They're going to be even more hit or miss than past years.
I think the other thing is if you look at their overseas contingent, like there's a lot of players that all want to bat like number 6. Curran probably wants to bat somewhere around 6. Ferreira probably wants to bat somewhere around 6. Hetmeyer wants to bat somewhere around 6. I think they used Jarrell at 6 last year. So you've got a kind of a whole load of players that are all going to be in this area. Jadeja probably will want to bat 6. I don't know. I wouldn't even be surprised if they used Jadeja as like a number 3 or something like
Rian
that.
Parag will want about 3, 4,
Yeah.
5, and 6.
So I think you've created a logjam there, but also a lot of these overseas players, it's sort of they've created quite a difficult problem for themselves to solve. And I don't think any of these players are like no-brainer selections apart from Jofra Archer, which means you probably need quite good intelligence about the pitches that you'll be playing on, and then decent communication within the squad so that everyone understands what their role will be.
They also don't have home advantage, right, Rajasthan? So it's a little bit more tricky to build. To build the thing like they have not given themselves flexibility again. Did they really need to have Victorious and Berger in that lineup? Or
No,
could they
this is what I'm getting at. Yeah.
They literally could give themselves a bit more flexibility. Mafaka, I can understand because he's coming through left armour. Maybe they see something in that potential. I definitely think he's got it. But yeah, I'm on a C for this one. I don't think it's an F. I think it's a C.
Is it C to F? Is that the borderline?
It's close.
It would be a D
yeah.
otherwise.
There's no D. There's no E.
Purely the fact that I like the sword swish of the bat
C-.
That Jadeja does. So you know,
I'm going to give it an F. I'm going for an F. You can't. I can't give it an F. Best player.
Yeah, but I can't give it an F from the point of view of what you're saying about you have to consider where they were before, and they still had issues before. Getting rid of all the spinners is kind of dumb, but yeah, but now they can just play Surivanshi all the time.
Don't even have that much money.
I'm breathing in copium. That's what I'm doing.
Cool. Look, what we're going to do, we're going to take a break at this point. Then we're going to come back and let's do Mumbai Indians. Let's do Mumbai Indians and Sunrisers Hyderabad. We'll do a big 2 in the next section.
2 minutes.
Max says. Speed it up. Well, let's do 3 in the next one. And Punjab Kings. There you go. We'll do 3 and it will be fun. Back in a moment.
You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cricket Podcast, where we're doing some off-season analysis in the IPL. We're going through each franchise, grading them A, B, C, or F, depending on their performance with squad construction prior to the 2025 mini auction, whatever we want to call it. We're going to be talking Mumbai, we're going to be talking Sunrisers, Hyderabad, and we're going to be talking Punjab Kings in this section. And we shall start with the Mumbai Indians. Lads, it's a sad day. Arjun Tendulkar, he's gone. Some kind of Shakespearean tragedy has occurred in the Tendulkar household. And old Arjun has been sent to...
I've got to get out of your shadow, Dad. I got to be my own man.
Cricketing purgatory. Lucknow Super Giants. They've also cut quite a few overseas players, mostly backup guys. So that's Topley, that's Majib, that's Lizard Williams. And kept most of the rest of the squad together. Big news in terms of people coming in. They have picked up Shardul Thakur. They have picked up Sherfane Rutherford, which all means they only have 2.75 crore to spend at the auction, which I guess means they won't be doing very much. They can fill a maximum of 5 spots with 1 overseas. Max, what do you make of Mumbai Indians? Were the bases already covered? They didn't really need to do anything here. Talk to me.
I mean, we liked them last year, didn't we? Then they got off to an absolutely horrific start, turned things around and started looking like the Mumbai Indians we sort of expected. They snuck into the playoffs in the end, didn't they? So I don't think they needed to rip things up and start again. They've obviously still got this guy called Jasprit Bumrah and this guy called
Mhm.
Suryakumar Yadav, and this other guy called Tilak Varma. So if you keep hold of those, anything's going to be a success, isn't it?
Hardik
Really.
Pandya is quite good as well, to be fair.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him. So
Yeah.
why bother changing things around?
Mitchell Santner.
They've been sensible.
Will
They've kept
Jacks.
hold of everyone good. Yeah, there was a rumor he was going to get dropped, wasn't there? At one point?
Yeah, that
But
was a big.
He
yeah.
stayed on. That would have been a real misstep, and he would have been a tasty proposition for almost any side.
Well, they were.
So yeah,
they
pretty good.
The Wolves didn't let Johnny Bairstow be retained, did they?
Mm. But yeah, I mean, obviously the big news is Arjun Tendulkar, and that's a huge win for Mumbai, isn't it? They've basically traded in a cricketer and B a lucky charm, and traded out an intern. So that's a result. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they've done all right. But I haven't
I think
got an awful lot to
B-stroke A
say.
for me. Yeah, B-stroke A.
Yeah, I think, like, in the trade market, it's hard to be like, oh, why have you gone for Shardul Thakur? He probably was the only player available. He's fine. He can do a little role there, can't he? He's not. They're not going to need him to be the main man. He probably won't play every game, but he's not. Well, he's a known quantity.
I
Put it
never
that
thought
way.
I'd say this though. I think that Mayank Makade is a downgrade
Makande.
from Khan Sharma. Yeah, but I think he's a downgrade from Khan Sharma. I think they might as well have just kept hold of Khan Sharma.
He's a bit younger.
Yeah, look, you can debate that sort of thing. I forgot that they traded him in actually from KKR. Look, there's a few things. I mean, like, it could be. Sometimes you think if you're pretty close to being a really good team, maybe there's something you could do to kind of really force it across the line and turn yourself into a great team. But then you can end up, like, the flip side of that is you can end up being a bit busy. And I think they've been more or less the appropriate amount of busy for the talent that they have. They didn't need to jettison anyone. They didn't need to free up loads of money to go into the auction pool. Are they comparatively a little underpowered in the overseas department compared to some of the other teams? You could maybe make an argument for that, but that's not really how Mumbai play.
They're completely overpowered in the domestic.
Yes, yeah,
engine,
exactly.
So that's fine.
And that's the way you'd rather be. So I'm going to go with an A, and we'll move on reasonably quickly from Mumbai because they're a bit boring, in a good way, I'd say. Max.
Yeah. I agree. My only main questions would be, whether it was worth going through the effort of trading in Shafane Rutherford and Mike Makande and not just seeing if you fancy something at the auction. But when you've got that little money left, I guess it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? So yeah, fine.
Ross?
Happy with an A.
It's a B for me, but we'll go for an A for overall from the pod. Sunrisers
Fair
next.
Sunrisers next. There was a little bit of action at Sunrisers. They got rid of Mohammed Shami, so he lasted a season. He's also been shipped off to cricketing purgatory, Lucknow Super Giants. A few other guys on the way out, via Mulder, Adam Zampa, Rahul Chahar, Sachin Baby. I mean, he never plays, but he's got a great name, hasn't he, Sachin Baby? So it's always nice to keep track of where he is in the world. It means they'll keep most of the big names together. Obviously, Big Pat Cummins, Abhishek Sharma, Travis Head, still around, which is, it's nice for them. Nitish Kumar Reddy leaves them with 25 crore to spend on up to 10 players, including 2 overseas. Ross, you can start with Sunrisers. What do you make of their business? Are there any glaring issues with what they've done?
I think getting rid of both your spinners is always a bit of an interesting one, I think, especially when it's going to be a little bit short on the ground. But for some reason, they seem to, like, IPL franchises don't really value spin that much, which I think is a bit interesting. I think some of the people they've retained aren't actually great at T20 cricket, but what do I know? And then when it comes to trading out Mohammed Shami, it gives them a little bit more flexibility at the auction, which I think is a good thing for them. There is question marks over Mohamed Shami's fitness, etc. But he is playing less and less international cricket. So there is one of those things where you're damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of things on that. Overall, I think it's a C/B. I think is that they could have done anything really. Vian Mulder and isn't making anyone sad. So yeah, I'm not too fussed by what Sunrisers have done here.
Max, do you like Ross? Given that a very milk toast review, I would say. What do you make?
I'm struggling to split the retention trade behavior from what I see in front of me in terms of the squad, and I don't like a lot of it. I've got to be honest. Getting rid of the spinners, getting rid of Rahul Chahar seems weird. They will have to buy.
He has been a bit pony. He has been a bit pony.
I suppose so, but I mean, who are you going to? Are you going to be able? Are they going to be able to afford Ravi Bishnoi? Or
I reckon Bishnoi is a big play here.
He's going to be. Yeah,
they could definitely afford Ravi Bishnoi. They've got 24 crore.
There's
might be quite a high price.
There's a lot of other teams who might want Ravi Bishnoi as well with more money. But yeah, I mean, he is an option for them. It just further serves to highlight when we get to them why releasing Ravi Bishnoi was completely fucking bananas behavior. But we'll get to that. Retaining Kamindu Mendes is an interesting one. Adam Zampa is not really fancied very much by the IPL, it seems, and I suppose always going to be questions about Australians and their ability. I don't know. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking they are going to be really in need of a good opening pace bowler, and I don't know where they're getting it from.
I'd say that is fair. What I would also say from their perspective is it realistic to think that Mohamed Shami is going to be that guy?
That is also. I mean that's also fair. Yeah.
You might fancy sticking with some of the guys that sort of had a little bit of a go towards the end of last season, for example, and you might not be wrong. I don't think if you're Sunrisers from that perspective. I think from a money perspective, point of view as well. Look, we haven't got to KKR yet, but spoiler alert, they've got 64 crore to spend, which is a lot.
That's an admission of guilt.
Sunrisers have got one Venki Iyer to spend it on.
CSK have got 43. But Sunrisers are comfortably in the kind of reasonable budget middle pack. KKR, I think
they've got a lot to do though. They've got a lot to buy.
We can fairly assume that KKR aren't going to be going for Ravi Bishnoi. They've got Narayan, they've got Chakravarti, they've got Soyash. So they're out the race. Well,
if they did that, they went for Bishnoi, no wicket keepers again, because they've got rid of the wicket keepers.
So the IPL. So I actually think that the Sunrisers have a chance at a substantial upgrade by picking up Bishnoi. I don't think Rahul Chahar's the man. I'd love to see Adam Zampa get a full season in the IPL. I don't think anyone will give it to him. People just don't like overseas spinners, even though there is a massive difference between Adam Zampa and some of the absolute pony leg spinners we'll see.
Shreyas Gopal, come on down.
Was he going to get that go at Sunrisers? Probably not. You have to remember as well that Clarkson and Head and Cummins make up. They're three automatic selections. How you feel? So at Bishnoi, you can maybe fill the spinner's gap, and then maybe you've got an overseas slot to. Is Nathan Ellis knocking about? He's the sort of person.
That's retained.
Patarana.
Patarana. Yeah, maybe they're going for Patarana. Patarana's the sort of person that would suit Sunrisers. Kind of. Yeah. So I'm going to go with a fairly optimistic, maybe B. I don't think it's too bad. I think it gives them a little bit of room to maneuver. There's a couple of obvious plays that I think they need to make, but that's not bad. It's nice to have an obvious plan. Ross, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I said at the start, C/B. I I just don't like all of these random overseas players who've been retained, but it seems to be a theme throughout this. So everyone's going for kind of team cohesion. But yeah, I'm on the C/B.
Max?
Yeah, I'm on the C
Dividing vote.
side. I'm on the
You
C
have to
side.
pick. Okay, C. So that's 2 C's. Let's say that's 2 C's and a B for Sunrisers. I think it's harsh, but what are you going to do? Let's
I mean,
finish off
C
then.
isn't bad. Remember that. Like C's not a
It's
disaster.
bad. It's bad.
F
It's
is
the
bad.
second worst. Yeah. Punjab Kings. They have got rid of Glenn Maxwell. They've got rid of Josh Inglis, Aaron Hardy, Kyle J. It's an absolute bloodbath in the Antipodes. Kyle Jameson, who's gone well.
Just like the Ashes is going to be.
I'll tell you what, if England could sign Kyle Jameson for the Ashes now that he's been released from Punjab Kings, that would be handy, I think. Not saying he'd start every test.
Another one to add to the England's injured pace battery, you mean?
Yeah, it'd be perfect. That means they've kept most of what was quite a good squad together. Like the Glenn Maxwell got some game time last year, didn't he? But I don't remember him doing anything. I'm sure he had like the one innings that Glenn Maxwell has.
I'm not sure he even did.
No. Okay. So that's a loss. The rest of the team were good. They carried the team to the final. They were well in that final. And then they lost. Because they're Punjab Kings.
That's what they do.
Which was obviously very sad. They'll have 11 crore to fill 4 spots, 2 overseas. Max, how are they going to do it? What are they going to do? Did they do well?
I don't have an issue with releasing Glenn Maxwell because he's had a couple of goes at Punjab Kings now, and it's never really worked. The others, yeah, fine. Josh Inglis is the only one that surprises me. I think he's a good cricketer, and I think he would have been worth hanging on to. But otherwise,
I did say, Max, that he's not going to be available for all of this, and it comes down to that, right?
They did indeed, and that is largely going to be the issue. And let's. I mean, they topped the group in the end. They got to the final, so similar to Mumbai Indians, really. Why would you upset the apple cart too much? So yeah, don't mind it. They've got a little bit of money to spend as well to replace those guys. So maybe they're just going to try and get Glenn Maxwell back a bit cheaper or what have you. But not too much to do. They've got options. They've got a little bit of money. I don't mind it. What I am concerned about though is that they are going to join RCB on the never-ending Maxi Livy roundabout. It'll be Liam Livingston back at Punjab Kings doing basically the same as Glenn Maxwell, maybe slightly more effective. But
tell you who you could see back in red and gold is Johnny Bairstow. You could see that happen.
That's not bad. It's not a ridiculous shout, I would say.
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
I think Punjab probably fall into that Mumbai Indians camp. It's like the team is pretty good. Don't get busy. And for once, Punjab, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm at this. I'm giving it an A. I'm giving it an A purely on the fact that we know the chaos happens. That is an A.
Possibly an A star, just for the fact, Mumbai Indians, you expect sensible behaviour from Mumbai Indians to a degree, but from Punjab Kings, well.
Yeah. I would like cards on the table. I think they'll struggle to replicate what they did last year. I think I can't honestly tell you that I expect Punjab Kings to be good in the IPL because even though I saw it last year, I still don't believe it's possible. But yeah, you didn't need to medal, and they didn't medal. So I'm going to give them an A. Let's go for an A.
I still don't know who Mitch Owen is, by the way. Still don't know who that person is, but
if you don't know him, he's Australian. That's the rules.
Very forgettable cricketer.
He had an amazing innings, didn't he? He's had a guy who had an amazing one innings in the Big Bash, I believe. He's got big arms as well. Like he's the sort of he looks quite Australian. If you were gonna pick an Australian from Central Casting, or that would be he'd be high at the list. Did anyone disagree? Well, we're just gonna go. We're giving Punjab Kings an A. A's all round. I'll be interested to see how they blow it. Put it that way. Okay, that's the end of part 2. We've still got 5 more teams to go. In the next section, we'll start with RCB. Then we'll do Lucknow Super Giants, and then we'll do Kolkata Knight Riders. So there's plenty to talk about in the section coming up. Stick with us. Make sure you click like and subscribe on whichever platform you are listening or watching on. And let us know in the comments what you think about our grades for all these players. All these franchises. You know what I mean.
You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to our IPL off-season analysis. We're looking at all the trades, retentions, releases, sideways moves, etc. that you see in the IPL going into the 2025 mini auction. We have completed half of the team so far. In this section, we're going to be talking about RCB, KKR, and Lucknow Super Giants, starting with RCB, who, for the first time, fellas, we can say are champions, the holders of the IPL trophy. Does the IPL trophy have a name? One of you can look that up while I go through the things that you need to know. RCB made a few changes. They got rid of Liam Livingstone. Lungi Ngidi is gone. Mayank Agarwal has gone. And then some, bus riders, basically. It means that they'll keep, as with a few of the other successful teams, they'll keep most of the stars together. That's Kohli, that's Phil Salt, Tim David hanging about, Krunal Pandya, all of your favourites. Yash Dayal, Josh Hazlewood. It is a good team when you go through it, isn't it? Jacob Bethel. There's some talent in this franchise. They will have 16 crore to fill 8 slots. Here's a potential spanner in the works. Ross, for you to start this discussion. Josh Hazlewood, we talked about Archer earlier in the conversation. Josh Hazlewood will be playing in the Ashes if he recovers from his hamstring injury. Then he'll be going to the T20 World Cup. Then he'll be going to the IPL. That's a pretty big workload on him. Could RCB have done anything to give themselves a little bit more cash to maybe provide a decent backup for Josh Hazlewood? Or are they just sort of hands tied in these circumstances?
It's difficult with what else is going to be out there, and if you then think around, they're always going to have some insight, right? There's always going to be people talking around, oh, I've just been released and all this kind of stuff. They're going to be very, very conscious that KKR is going to have a lot of money to spend, that CSK likely have some money to spend, etc. And so I think it is a big risk. Yash Dayal could have gone, I think, if they had a moral compass at the heart of RCB. But clearly they don't. And yeah, they could have done that, but they played pretty well like last year, right? So you don't want to break up a decent team. So it is a challenge. I'm still completely unclear how this team is actually as good as it played. On paper, it doesn't look brilliant. So
I think that's grossly unfair to RCB, who I thought would deserve champions last year. They've got at least one excellent fast bowler in Hazlewood. Bhuvi Kumar still pretty decent, isn't he?
He's too injury prone now. He's too injury prone.
He played most of the year, so there you go.
Yeah, they've got Virat Kohli. They've got Phil Salt, who might be the best T20 batter in the world. If you listen to the BBC.
For 2026,
Tim David. Sure. Like, there's some good players there. Like, I don't know. You just said to quote you. I don't see how this fits together. They've got Virat Kohli, Phil Salt, Tim David.
I didn't.
Bhuvi Kumar. How are you not seeing how this might?
Because I just don't think that there's so much luck go in their favour, and injuries is going to ravage this team, and the RCB are not going to do well next season.
All right, Max, agree or disagree?
I mean, they were pretty good, weren't they? I think they're going to have to replace the Liam Livingstone character. Maybe Jacob Bethel's just going to come straight in and do that job. On the Hazlewood discussion, I think maybe they could have hung on to Lungi Ngidi because he did pretty well when he came in to fill Hazlewood's sizable shoes. But they could get him back. There are some other options overseas in the mini auction that they could pull in. Someone like Reece Topley, perhaps. Although, why you'd go for someone made of glass to back up someone who might be injured is a questionable thing. So overall, in terms of the squad, it's fine. It seems reasonable, and they've got a little bit of dosh if they need it. But Ross alluded to it. The elephant in the room is Yash Dayal, and not releasing him is an absolute disgrace. So fuck them.
Yeah, I probably agree with that.
RCB. Boo.
I've also realised
It's basically probably not quite as bad because he hasn't actually gone to court and been proven to have done it yet, but up there with the Lamachane Nepal behaviour, or it's trending in that direction. It's not quite that bad because he still hasn't been arrested, but it doesn't sound great.
No. Well, we'll go and read about that story online. Is what I would say to people. I've realised on a more humorous note that I've deleted an entire year of Soyash Sharma's life by calling him a KKR player, even though he played 14 matches for RCB last year and plays for RCB now. So they have him to fit in. I don't think it's that bad.
I think it's probably a B. I think it's a B.
Yeah, you could dock them for a lack of moral fortitude, I think. Yeah, and if you
and believe... I will.
Okay, so what are you going to give them, Max?
A C.
I'll go with a C on that basis as well. I don't mind. Ignoring that they've done an okay job from a cricket point of view to make that point. That's RCB. Ross, we are going to move on to. We said Lucknow next, didn't we? We'll do Lucknow Super Giants. Killer Miller, he's gone. Ravi Bishnoi, he's gone. Shardul Thakur traded away. Akash Deep gone. Shamar Joseph, not really sure exactly why he was there in the first place. He is also gone. Somehow, despite cutting all of those players, Lucknow still only have 22 crore to spend. I suppose they did pick up Mohammad Shami's contract, and Arjun Tendulkar came in as well, but they're paying him about 55p, so not too much to worry about there. They've got 23 crore to fill 6 spots. 4 of them will be overseas. Apart from Lucknow just being the most irritating franchise in this tournament and me wanting to skip through them as quickly as possible, Max, what else do we need to know, and how well have they done? How is this good business by Lucknow?
Well, they've gained a point in Sex Offender Watch with their releases, but that's about the only positive I think spin I can put on what LSG have done, because the elephant in their room for me is the Ravi Bishnoi release, especially with some of the word on the street that they open to bringing him back. If they're expecting to bring Ravi Bishnoi back for less money than they were paying him in the first place, then I think they might be out of luck, because there'll be a few teams raising their paddle for Ravi Bishnoi. He will fit nicely into a number of franchises, as we've already discussed, and I think, to be honest, that's going to cause some problems. I suppose on the other hand, what inexplicably worked for them last year was having all of their fast bowlers injured and playing random people. So maybe Arjun Tendulkar is a move from that book. They've held on to Mayank Yadav, who is one of those permanently injured people. Mohammad Shami has joined them to lie with him on the sick bed. They're probably going to end up with Arjun Tendulkar opening the bowling with someone that they've picked up 3 weeks before the IPL starts, and then they'll probably win 3 games on the trot to start and get away with it, because it's what LSG do. But I don't like it overall. I think maybe it's fairly poor business.
Maybe their physio is some sort of Victorian era doctor surgeon who
studied the stool of Ganguly.
Bucket of leeches.
Yeah, like learns from experimenting on people. And Mayank Yadav, they're assembling some sort of Frankenstein's hospital for bowlers.
Frankenstein's bowler.
at Lucknow Super Giants. Yeah,
But with all the worst bits of each one, Mayank Yadav's
Yeah.
back. Shami's
Yes.
hair.
Yeah.
I
Mitch
disagree.
Marsh.
I think they've actually done a
Lansdale.
pretty good job here.
Okay,
I
talk to us
think
again.
the fact that Shardul Thakur, they didn't even pick him up first time, right? He was on the free agency list. They managed to get Arjun Tendulkar for free. That's a great bit of business. That's pedigree right there.
Is that a good business?
Is it?
No, it's not a good bit of business, is it? Come on. I do think they've made other teams stronger because of the Bishnoi factor, but they have given themselves a little bit of flexibility. So out of the overseas players, like from what? So I'm trying to think of who starts them. So Markram starts, Mitch Marsh starts, and Puran starts. Right?
Yeah.
Could they get a better upgrade in the spin department? Probably not, but Hasaranga is available to them.
Zampa.
Adam Zampa is also available to them. I think a Johnny Bairstow bit one here could well fit in, but I don't think. I'm always worried about their opening bit, but that was put to bed last year. Markram did great. Mitch Marsh did great. Puran's fantastic. So I think batting wise they're okay, and this gives them a little bit of flexibility to focus on, whether it is a Glenn Maxwell, a Cam Green, one of the all rounders, and then a better pace battery. I think it's okay. I think this is actually.
Does releasing Akash Deep make sense to you? I mean, he's fine. Like he's an okay bowler.
I would rather have Akash Deep than Mohammad Shami. I think.
Yeah.
Not in like a one-off game for my life, but for an IPL season.
For 14 matches.
Yeah, your expectation with Mohammad Shami is you're going to get 7 games, maybe 9 games, 2 where he's not very fit. So 7 effective games. Akash Deep will probably play all 14, and yes, he won't be the best player in the world, but he's probably about league average, isn't he? Like he's not. You could put him in your team and be fairly sure that he isn't going to cost the whole. Isn't just going to single-handedly blow every game that he's involved in.
And he could well end up at Sunrisers.
Yeah. I mean, he could. I don't
think it's an F. I think I think they've given themselves flexibility. I think it's a C stroke B for me.
I'm going for an F.
I will admit. I want an F.
Yeah, I look like Super Giants. I am biased. I don't like them very much, so an F.
Haven't you got a Lucknow shirt?
I do. I've got 2 Lucknow shirts.
They're ironic.
I liked them when they had the scaly shirt. I liked them. Then they changed it.
Yeah, now they've just got the same colour as everyone else.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
Right, let's move on from them.
Kolkata Knight Riders to finish off part 3. KKR, look, this is the massive.
Yeah, so much fun.
It's a bloodbath.
It is a bloodbath. They've released half their team. More than half their budget they'll have to spend. They'll end up after all of this. They'll end up with 65 crore to spend out of 125.
Manish Pandey's still got a contract,
6 overseas. Look, this is who they got rid of. Venki Iyer. They spent 25 crore on him last year. Gone. Andre Russell.
They couldn't retain him though. Couldn't retain him. Could they?
Stalwart of the team, of the franchise. A legend of the IPL. Gone. Anrik Nortje, I don't think he really played. Gone. Moeen Ali. Gone. Gurbaz, their wicketkeeper. Gone. Quinton de Kock, their other wicketkeeper. Gone. Spencer Johnson. Gone. These are all players that
could play in the T20 side and be quite good.
Yeah. With the exception of Nortje because of injuries. All players that featured pretty prominently for this side. And recently. Some of these players helped them get to the IPL final. Win the IPL, in fact, the year before. So it's a huge changeover. Ross, what does it all mean?
Means they are going to be big stack bullies, or they could, if they play their cards right, at the mini auction, and they can pretty much pick up whoever they really want to, if I'm perfectly honest. If we assume that Bishnoi goes for, I don't know what, 7-8 crore, do you reckon Bishnoi will go for? Something like that to CSK, potentially, or one of the others. So,
what did Rahul Chahal go for? I'm not saying they're the same, but if we can use him as a bit of a benchmark, he went quite a lot.
Probably about 4. Did he? Was it 4 or 5?
No, Rahul Chahal. Sorry, and I'm not even thinking. I've
Yuzi.
combined two people. Yuzi Chahal, yeah.
yeah, Chahal,
Um,
Yuzi Chahal, but
he worked for quite a lot. So if he's the benchmark, that was in a mega auction. 18 crore. I think it could be more than 10 for Bishnoi then.
fair. And so that, and as you say, I don't think KKR are going after him, right? So that gives them a little bit more flexibility to go in what they need to. They could potentially get Dre Russ back. Dre Russ has been fantastic for them. He's a little bit over the hill now, you can imagine, but it was expensive. I think actually they did the logical thing here of cutting what they needed to. I probably would have kept one or two of the overseas that they've got available to them. I would have kept one of the wicket keepers, for example. But
they weren't paying Gurbaz loads. Yeah.
So I literally think this is fine. I think they had to do something after the horror show, but this is very, very fun. I cannot believe some of the people they've retained though, which makes me again on the C/B side of things. But
let's talk about that. So they've retained a lot of people. The notable one probably Rahane, who will be their captain, Max. From a really cold,
the one bit of stability.
From a cold, hard, money is everything perspective, you can make an argument for, I think, all of the releases that they've made.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can make an argument for Rahane retained and is the captain again. Can you?
Possibly not, but he hasn't been bad. I mean, he's a new man in T20, isn't he? Ajinkya Rahane has his role that he serves. I think there's a question. There's a question. I think about how many of those players they've released they won't just buy back for less. I feel like Venki Iyer could be in that category.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair.
So I think it could be a relatively calculated move, and maybe they thought that Rahane, they're not spending piles and piles of money on him, so it's not that big a deal. Interesting that they've kept a hold of, as far as I can tell, from anecdotal memory, the Golden Duck Impact sub specialist Anakul Roy. I think that's happened to him multiple times, so that's good for the comedic value. I think if you try and extract yourself away from the sheer hilarity of the fact that they've got rid of half their team and have more than half their budget to spend, there is some sense to it. I just think that, like I said with CSK, it's an admission that they got things wrong last time out. And if you're going to go for this big renewal strategy, it's kind of mad that they didn't do it at the mega auction when they already had half of these players and they already knew that they were, pushing the top of the hill or quite comfortably past it. So yeah, interesting to see what they'll do. But A for excitement.
A for excitement. You go for an A.
A for excitement. Not actually an A.
Okay, well, you've said A now. Ross, what do you say?
It's a B for me. Good flexibility, but
Yeah, I'll probably give it a B. Maybe I was a bit harsh on Rahane there. I don't think any of the decisions they've made are completely ridiculous. And I think that means you're a B, doesn't it? Like if you were doing your English writing paper at GCSE and you don't write anything completely ridiculous, you get a B. And for that reason, KKR get a B. Look, we're going to take a quick break. Then we're going to come back. We have two more teams to talk about, the Gujarat Titans and the Delhi Capitals. Stick with us. Make sure you click like and subscribe. Keep leaving us comments. Let us know what you think the best piece of business was. Should there be more trades in the IPL? I don't know. If there's any thought that comes into your head, it all helps when it comes to the algorithm. We'll be back in a moment.
You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cricket Podcast. We have two more teams to talk about in our IPL retentions, trades, etc. review: the Gujarat Titans and the Delhi Capitals. Make sure you click like and subscribe. Follow us on all the social media platforms at the Cricket Pod. And why don't you sign up to Patreon? Patreon.com/the Cricket Pod if you are that way inclined. Last two teams, the Gujarat Titans and the Delhi Capitals, and we will have got through all of the big news from the IPL. We'll start with the Gujarat Titans. They traded away Shafane Rutherford to Mumbai Indians, got rid of the new Hardik, as I was once told, Datsun Shanaka, Gerald Kurtzer cut as well, and then some bit part players also binned off. It's kind of minor surgery from their perspective. It gives them 12 crore or 12.9 crore to spend on 5 players, 4 of whom can be overseas. Max, what do you make of this team? I mean, they've kept Glenn Phillips around, presumably as a mascot. Ishant Sharma gets another go. They had their highs and their lows last year, Gujarat Titans, didn't they? And it fizzled out a little bit towards the end, but they weren't a bad team.
Yeah, I think the issue they had last year was just a little bit of over-reliance on their top 3 firing, which isn't a bad top 3 to be over-reliant on because it involves Shubman Gill and Josh Butler. So and Sai Sudarshan, who had an excellent year as well. So that's not too bad. They've still got Rashid Khan. That's not too bad, is it? I quite like them all round as a side, and they've not tinkered too much. Like I said, I mean, the guys they've cut not hugely integral to their side, so they don't have a huge amount of money.
Even people in Afghanistan don't know who Karim Yana is. Like, it was the biggest surprise I've ever seen at an auction for me.
Ross has turned himself into a pitside reporter, by the way, in the last minute, which is
Jeff Shreves.
Enjoyable. Jeff Shreves over there, asking the important questions. Yeah, it's they're I think similar for me to the Mumbai Indians and Punjab Kings camp in that they've been fairly sensible. They've not done anything too exciting. I suppose the question is whether they maybe needed to because they weren't as successful as those two sides. But I like the side. I like the team. They've got good players. They've kept the good players. Fine. Yeah, all good from my perspective.
He might be the worst ever one, like for like an individual game. Karim Janat, one game, didn't bat, 1 over, 30 runs. I can't think of anyone.
Net impact, the biggest negative net impact.
Yeah, like that's worse than getting a golden duck.
Way worse.
It's like getting a golden duck and dropping 3 catches or something like
Or
that.
like 0 off 30 balls.
Yeah. Look, Gujarat, they fly under the radar a little bit because they basically make all of the obvious moves, which isn't super fun to talk about, but does generally mean that they put out a functioning cricket team that will almost certainly win some matches. And I imagine, based on the personnel that they've got, be there or thereabouts when it comes to the playoffs. Are they the best team in the IPL? Were they last year? No, probably not. Will they be this year? Probably not again. But
They don't always a solid bet for the playoffs, aren't they?
Yeah, they don't need that much to push them over, do they? They just need like one good year from Rashid Khan. If he was a little bit better than he was last year, they'd probably comfortably been in the playoffs. Might have won the whole thing.
Well,
it's not a bad bet to make, is it? Well, yeah. It's not. Look, if I was them, it's not a bad bet to make that Rashid Khan will be a bit better this year, and everyone else will be more or less the same. I don't hate it. Ross, any thoughts from you?
And I think they've done the right thing here. They've got a strong team, and they've got rid of some absolute dead weight. So yeah, I think this is an A for me.
An A. Yeah, I could be tempted with an A as well, I think.
Yeah. Done the same thing for Mumbai and Punjab, and they finished 2nd and 4th. So
who's there? So if we look at the overseas thing just quickly here, so they're going to have Rabada and Butler.
Butler and Rashid Khan.
Rashid Khan. So they've got quite a lot of money to buy someone who can hopefully bat 6.
Well, they've got Glenn Phillips, right? They've not played Glenn Phillips that much.
And they still won't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
should.
could use Glenn Phillips. They could use Glenn Phillips. That's completely
And
fair.
then and then they could spend a bit more money on the pace battery, right? For that, because Rabada is hit and I like Rabada, but he is hit and miss. So
That's not that bad, though, is it? Krishna,
Rabada,
Krishna,
Siraj.
Mohammed Siraj,
Krishna.
and Rabada. Like,
you see, I think it's
And
good.
then,
You're a
they've
man
got
who wants
Rashid
to not.
Khan and
I think I said that was my favourites to win last year. So
Okay.
and,
All right.
and they didn't.
Well, yeah. Look, there we go. That's them. Final team then, Delhi Capitals. They shipped out Donovan Ferreira. Faf du Plessis is gone. Jake Fraser McGurk. He's gone from the IPL. Might be gone from cricket. I haven't heard anything about him. Mohit Sharma, he's gone too. They brought in Nitish Rana. Huge move, Nitish Rana. And
just to shore up that strike rate at the top of the order.
everything else.
100 for none off 15 overs going to be.
Everything else stays more or less the same. Still got KL Rahul, still got Stubbs, still got Mitchell Stark, still got Karen there, Akshay Patel and the boys. They were a bit of a meh team last year. Has anything happened here, Ross? Now that they've got 22 crore to spend on 8 players to make you think this is the team going in the right direction?
I think being able to free themselves away from Faf. Faf has been a fantastic player, but not at the age that he is now. And I think that's a very, very good thing for them. And so I think they've given themselves a little bit of flexibility. And they've got 5 overseas slots with 21 crore to go at, which gives them a little bit more kind of competitiveness at the auction compared to some of the other teams. So I think Delhi have done a pretty good job, and I look forward to them ramping up the price for a couple of random players like Venki Iyer or someone like that for KKR to buy back.
Or
Maybe.
accidentally spend 18 crore on Venki Iyer and be left with nothing.
That would be just as funny. I think both of those outcomes. I mean, though, frankly, would be kind of great. Yeah. The problem I have with Delhi is that I just don't
think they're very good. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I have the same issue, but that's not, again, that's separate from the auction strategy, isn't it?
Yeah, separate. It's separate. Yeah.
If you go for the cold hard facts, Faf du Plessis, as you said, like he's been a good servant, but probably worth moving on. Jake Fraser McGurk has been abject in the last year, which is a shame because we really enjoy watching him when he's good. But I think it makes sense to ditch him. And Mohit Sharma's 37 and probably better options on the table. So don't mind any of that. My one reservation is, as I said before, I think losing Donovan Ferreira for Nitish Rana. I think I don't particularly like that, but
not space to play him and Stubbs in the same team, they reckon.
Well,
no, that does make sense.
I don't think it solves the problem that they've. I think it might make them think they've solved the problem that they've got, but I don't think it has solved the problem that they've got. Like if you look at their team, like there are some decent players in there, aren't there? Look, Kuldeep Yadav, no one's complaining about him. Akshay Patel, absolutely great. KL Rahul is a fine guy to have up the top of the order. Stark and Stubbs are very decent.
Vicky boy.
Yeah. Like they've got a couple of, and then they've got a couple of other players like him who
smash a tosh
sort of fit in. Ashutosh, yeah, can fit in as well. I think you need a little bit more batting firepower, and I don't think Nitish Rana would be the sort of person that would have been good to pick up in 2019 or 2021. I think you might have been better if you didn't want Donovan Ferreira. You might have been better just giving them Donovan Ferreira and or just putting him back into the auction.
Yeah, cutting him.
I'm not sure Nitish Rana. Yeah, like you must be if from Delhi's point of view, and this is why I'm more inclined to go lower. I think the only reason you do that trade to bring Nitish Rana in is if you think Nitish Rana is solving that problem, and I'm not sure there's that much. You know,
is he in there to replace Faf? Is that the?
No, I can only assume they're sort of thinking something along those lines, that he goes in there and then you get rid of Fraser McGurk and you get rid of Faf and you bring in one new overseas
King Legend
player.
goes up the order.
King
Yeah.
Legend obviously goes
Yeah.
up the order,
Yeah.
and then it sort of figures out that way. I like. Do we? I don't know if I see that happening. I wouldn't be trading for Nitish Rana. I'm not saying if he was in the auction pool, I might splash the cash and try and pick him up, or well, not splash the cash, but I might try and pick him up as a guy who can sort of fit in. But it feels like, and I'm trying to read into the mind of the Delhi Capitals think tank here. It feels like they've done that for a reason, and the reason is that they think Nitish Rana is solving a problem that they've got, and I don't think he is. So I'm going to go with a C for Delhi.
I think that's fair.
That's fair.
Okay, that was a nice, democratic and easy way to wrap things up. Fellas, that is the end of the IPL Trades and Retentions podcast. We've graded all of the teams. Do let us know in the comments if you're a fan what you think of our opinions. Does anyone have any final words? Ross, starting with you.
No, bring on the mini auction.
Max, final word from you.
I'm pleasantly surprised at the amount of action that we're going to get at the auction this year. I think on the back of the back of the mega auction, I think there was always the chance of people not doing too much, but KKR and the others have certainly put paid to that. So I think it should be fun. If there's a gap in all of our Ashes fun and coverage, then I look forward to tuning into the auction. But I don't know. We've got bigger fish to fry.
Good. Very good. Thanks very much for listening, everyone. Goodbye.